Still getting the sleep out of my eyes, people. Wake and bake. Doing a punch today. This is a real big cigar. It's a 6 by 60, I believe, or 5.5 by 60. Ooh, a little on the dry side too. I messed up the cap a little bit. Not too bad. That's what your tongue is for. Seal it back. Welcome back to the low budget back porch. I'm your host, M.R. Davis. Today I'm going to toast up the Chillin Moose. This is made by a company called Foundry Cigars. It's going to take a bigger flame to properly light it. Now, the Chillin Moose I normally get in a Robusto. It smells a little bit like a campfire, in other words. Like, not the most pleasant smoke, but it has a certain attractiveness to it despite that. It's kind of odd. Once the burn stabilizes, the flavor changes. The initial light up is pretty, I'd say harsh. And it's very difficult to get it to light. Key attributes. Chillin Moose uses a blend of high quality long filler. So the filler is made with long cut leaves, right? Not just a chop. Sourcing on that is mixed. It's U.S. broadleaf, Mexican San Andreas, Dominican, Nicaraguan. Binder is an Ecuador Sumatra. I thought that the wrapper was Sumatra. I thought I was getting that from the taste. No, sir. It's the binder. A little bit more of it. No wonder I was tasting so much of it. Ecuadorian Sumatra has a tendency to be a little harsher, especially on the first light. And it tends to have more pepper. Kicks you in the back of the throat or the top of the tongue a little bit more. The wrapper is a Connecticut Habano Rosado. It's really a Habano family. It's not fair to put Connecticut on it other than the fact that it may have some sort of a cheesecloth or whatever over the plants that it's taken from to keep the lighter color. But a Habano tends to be processed in such a way that it gets this darker color, and they're usually even darker than this. They're closer to a Maduro, but in color, but definitely not in flavor. These cigars are really well priced. This one was a gift, but I've bought them before, and I think that they run somewhere between $5 and $6 for a Robusto, and for this size, probably closer to 7 or 8, depending where you're at. We're going to talk about prices in a future video because that varies wildly. And you hear different stories about it from different tobacconists. Some of it's true, then some of it's not as true. Some of it's more true in certain areas than it is in others. especially when you start dealing with governmental regulations and taxes and things like that. Some of it has to do with the practices of the shop. So we're going to talk about that soon. But traditionally, I have smoked the Chillin Moose 2, spelled Too. This is just the Chillin Moose. I tend to like the Chillin Moose 2 a little better because it's smoother. It's creamier, it goes great with a cigar. It goes great with a cup of coffee. This one's a little harsher, a little bit stronger. This is a medium plus. This is more like a full body cigar, particularly in the nicotine punch and the pepper. But its flavor notes are nutty, leather, a little bit of earth, a little bit of vanilla. One really cool thing about this cigar is the ash. That is a solid monster of an ash. It's cracking a little bit, but I think it'll hold on for a good 2 to 3 inches easily. And I could probably nurse it halfway down the cigar, maybe 2/3 if I really was careful. I'm not that careful typically, so it'll end up on my shirt. I'm gonna probably ash it here in a minute and bring it back down to size. But there's something important about an ash. It acts as a filter. It's part of the reason that the flavor changes after the initial light. When you get just that little smidgen of ash at the very beginning, and it starts to taste a little better, it's filtering some of the air through the burnt tobacco. Well, I'm going to switch over to voiceover here. As you can see, there's nothing in stock, man. These things are really hard to find. So when you get them because they're back ordered and they're good cheap sticks that just taste good. Here's another site. You got some of them back ordered, other ones you can get, and that's a pretty smoking deal. That's 20 cigars for like $55, and they're actually worth way more than that. So I'm about halfway through the stick here. Maybe not quite. I'm really enjoying it. Flavor notes have not changed much. The thing has actually mellowed out a little bit. The pepper has really subsided, taken a back seat. The burn has stayed consistent. I haven't had to touch it up hardly at all. Construction on these cigars is very good. The band, I'm taking it off now. It's not even glued. It just slips right off. See that? Chillin Moose. And now we're into the last third. The cigar has actually gotten richer, a little bolder. Flavors have gotten more mature, is the best way to put it. Burn is razor sharp, slightly inconsistent, but pretty good. The smoke has gotten a little bit thinner though. Didn't expect that. A little coffee to wash it down. Now, it's about here that my dad stepped out onto the porch and started having a conversation with me, completely oblivious to the fact that I'm trying to record a video. That's okay. He's a good guy. Didn't teach me anything about cigars, but he taught me a whole lot about life and a lot of other things. So I just decided to let it record, play around with my cigar, and just agreed to do this voiceover work afterwards. Of course, now I'm down to the nub in the last fifth of the cigar, and the flavors have really started to focus and strengthen at the end here, getting that good bit of nicotine zip on the lip. You know, that tingle as the ammonia builds up and the nicotine really starts to build. I usually like that to a degree, but this one is about to die a death of dignity in the ashtray in a few more puffs. Well, that's it here in the low budget back porch. I want to thank you for joining me. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you next time.